First one is, did you experience period loss at any point? And then just I'll add my own little one to that as well, because I've got a few women going through the menopause in my life, and I found it quite fascinating when you talked about that before. So could you just touch on like period loss,
Yeah.
menopause, and yeah, things like that?
Now, there is, it's like some talk in the community. There was a book published by Wendy Harris and Nadine F. MacDonald some years ago. I haven't got a copy of it, and it was called Is Menstruation Really Necessary? It was very interesting, and it gave examples of some women on a raw vegan diet, on a fruitarian diet, their periods stopping, but they were still ovulating. And that's the thing. Your periods can stop because you're either a very, very low weight or you're sick and your body is in no position to support a pregnancy. And your body, in its innate wisdom, thinks, hey, I'm going to stop this cycle because this woman doesn't need to get pregnant now. She needs to heal before she gets pregnant. But some women report that they can get pregnant while not bleeding. They still have a cycle. They're not stopping ovulation, they're just stopping bleeding. And I do believe that's possible. For myself, I always had a period. Even when I was doing a mono diet and my body fat was like 10%, which is low for me, I would still have a regular period. And I think because before I was raw, I always had very, very heavy periods. I had heavy periods, painful periods. They were just like, oh, I would dread when they were going to be, because I was thinking, what, if I'm going somewhere, I've got to deal with this pain, I've got to deal with this heavy period. So when I went to raw, my periods were so much better. They were pain-free, they were lighter, but they never stopped. And I think maybe if a woman had a fairly light period to start with, maybe the bleeding would cease if she was on a different type of diet. But as long as you're still ovulating, because that's the important thing, because if a woman stops ovulating, it's due to health issues. And it will also mean that her estrogen, her progesterone are not at healthy levels. And we need those hormones to have healthy bones and to be healthy. So there's two reasons why your periods might stop. It might be because you're super healthy and you're still ovulating, but you're not bleeding. Or it might be that you've got some health challenges or some weight issues and you're not in a position to carry a pregnancy, so you stop ovulating. So yeah, I do believe some women can stop their periods or stop bleeding. They still have their cycle though.
If you're enjoying the video this far, you'll like my free community full of like-minded people looking to get fit, vibrant, healthy, lean, happy, you name it, energetic. Yeah, so I'll leave that top link in the description. Enjoy the rest of the video and eat your fruit, baby.
And talking about menopause, I mean, this is a thing that we hear so much about menopause. Women dread it. There's perimenopause, and there's menopause, and there's after menopause. For 5 or 10 years, you're going to get hot flashes, you're going to be moody, you're going to have brain fog, you're just going to be, in a really bad space. And it's a big fear, I think, for women. But then when I went through menopause, the only symptom I got was my period stopped. And it was like, I was thinking, oh, that's a very long gap. And then they just never started again. And I didn't get hot flashes. I didn't get brain fog. I didn't get mood swings. It was just like my period stopped. And I've known other women, long-term raw vegans, who've had the same thing. And it's wonderful, really, because we hear this, all these things about how awful it'll be to go through menopause. And it's like, well, it's a stage of life. Every woman goes through it. But maybe we can go through it and just have our periods stop and not have all the other side effects. And it's all about our endocrine system, our hormonal system. And so many people at any age, so many women suffer from endocrine issues, whether it's their thyroid or whether it's that, premenstrual syndrome or heavy periods. And these little tiny things, these little hormones that are just tiny secretions can affect our lives so badly. Women that suffer with premenstrual syndrome, they can be totally different. In the first couple of days of their period, their moods, their anger levels, their irritability can be very, very different. And I do think that one thing that can heal and rebalance on a natural diet is our endocrine system. So whether we're a young woman having heavy periods, whether we're an older woman, that's going through menopause, whether we're a woman who wants to conceive and have a healthy pregnancy, believe that when we take control of our own health, when we take responsibility for our own health and the health of our endocrine system by our diet and lifestyle, and it's not just diet, like you were saying, it's sunshine, fresh air, breathing, positive thoughts, community, then we can go through all the stages of, a feminine life, being healthy and being happy, and not seeing pregnancy as being an illness or being something that's awful, and that it's to be dreaded and it's uncomfortable and we're getting backache and we're getting swelling and this kind of stuff. And periods aren't something to be feared, and menopause isn't something to be feared. It's all things that we can control ourselves when we take responsibility for our own health and wellness.